What have you done?
I went to the 60 days NA or AA online virtual visits. I reported twice.
All right, so that didn't work because you're here for a possession of controlled substance.
Can I take my baby with me?
No, what ends up happening when you are at safety, because it's at the prison, when you're at safety and you deliver your baby, someone needs to be there to accept custody of your child. Otherwise, Child Protective Services will be picking up your baby and you will have a CPS case.
Today, we're in Judge Boyd's courtroom, and this case is tough to watch. We've got a mother who keeps ending up back in court, and every time she's given a chance to turn things around, she falls short. It's like responsibility just hasn't clicked for her yet. The judge has been patient. The system has been patient. But patience only goes so far. And right now, it feels like she's running out of chances fast. Watching this unfold, you can tell we're about to find out whether she finally takes things seriously or keeps heading down the same path. So here's the real question. Does she truly want her life back, or is she just saying what people want to hear? Let's get into it.
Record for the state,
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
for the defense.
Deborah Stanton, for the defendant.
And are you Miss Butler? All right, and according to your plea bargain agreement, there's a $1,500 fine. The state is recommending deferred adjudication. This is the run concurrent with 718-359 and 72869. The state is taking in consideration NITMAC number 752-652-760-865. All right, so if you were released from custody, who would you be staying with?
I'll be staying with my mother.
All right, and people will say that, but have you picked up the phone and called her and she wants you to stay with her?
Yes.
All right, now she's under oath. Okay.
After her, I want to tell you something about me and her mom.
Okay, all right, thanks. So do you have any children?
Yes, I have one son.
And what is his age?
His age is 2 years old.
And who does he live with?
He is not in my custody anymore.
Okay.
Yeah, I lost my rights.
Okay. And so what are your plans as far as employment? What are your hopes, your dreams, your goals?
My goals is to be a college graduate. I want to be a nurse, a RN. So when I get out, I do want to start school. I was already enrolling in the process and then get a job.
All right. So what I can tell you is it's not impossible, but it's difficult. Anytime you have a criminal case, whether it's deferred or regular probation with a conviction, when you're seeking employment somewhere where it requires a license, it becomes more difficult, but it can be done because I know someone who actually went to prison, and I know this because I work with them to try to get their license and everything. Guess what? They're now an attorney. So it can be done, but you just made it a struggle, okay? All right, did you all want to speak to the length of deferred adjudication? It's in the plea paperwork outside the agreement, it's for 4 years.
Anything up to 4 years.
All right. So I'm going to set your deferred adjudication at 4 years deferred adjudication. If you complete everything successfully, you can always approach the court for early termination. But for early termination, I'm going to be looking at whether or not you've been positive, whether you've been reporting on a regular basis. You understand?
Yeah.
So there's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person, regular random UAs, proof of employment within 30 days, and I'll say 30 days of release.
Yes.
There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. And the no unsupervised contact with minors, that can potentially change once you've shown me that you have everything, your life together. You understand?
Yes.
This will run concurrent with 718-359 and 728-369. Taking consideration NITMAC number 752-652-760-865. Field visits 1 time per month for 6 months. 200 hours of community service restitution. if you complete a higher level education, or if
She's already starting off in a rough spot, and the hearing has barely begun. To be fair, she does have goals. She wants to finish school, go to college, maybe even become a registered nurse someday. And honestly, that's more ambition than a lot of defendants come in with. But Judge Boyd isn't wrong here. It's hard to build a future like that when your record keeps growing. Some convictions can shut doors before you even get a chance to explain yourself, and losing parental rights to her 2-year-old is a major red flag. If she wants any shot at getting her child back, finishing school, or building a stable future, these next 4 years of deferred adjudication have to matter. One missed meeting, one failed drug test, and everything could fall apart out on paper. It sounds simple. Show up and stay clean. But when addiction is involved, simple becomes a daily battle. The state is giving her a real opportunity here, more than a lot of people get. The judge is basically saying, I can't do the work for you, but I can give you the chance. Now it's on her to prove she's ready.
you obtain some sort of trade school certificate, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied. So it'll be up to you whether you want to end up picking trash up on the side of the road or bettering yourself with your education. You understand?
Going to school, yes, ma'am.
There's to be no contact with Longley, Longle. There is a $1,500 fine that will be probated. And there is, I'm going to follow the TAP recommendation, and that's to be dual diagnosis, outpatient treatment with probation. And there's going to be 60 sober meetings in 60 days. And then we can go off the record. So in this court, communication is complete.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's an issue, let probation know. If you feel as though they're not a good match, always come back to the court. This is what I tell everybody. My goal is to be rehabilitated. If you feel as though you're going to take a drink, because you're not allowed to drink alcohol on probation or do any other type of drug, pick up the phone, call your probation officer, say, I'm struggling right now. Because that shows me that you learned what you need to do in order to be clean and sober. But if you're out here in this world and you're having problems and you don't let them know, guess what? We don't know, and we can't help you. All right. Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right. And you want to tell me about her mom?
She and I are texting every day. She
Mhm.
wants to know what happens now, today. So, yes, her mom's here.
All right. So they'll probably release you. It's probably going to be midnight. I have no control over
We
that.
have to make sure she's on bond in the
Okay.
2 county court settings.
So if you make bond for that, this court is not the court that will be holding you. It'll be the misdemeanor court. Okay.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
24 CR 4982, State versus Briella Butler. Could I have parties announced for the record?
Jason Garahan for the state, Your Honor. Patrick Collins for the defense.
And are you Ms. Butler?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you review the document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision and First Amendment Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision with your attorney, and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Briella Butler who's placed on deferred adjudication in 2024 CR 4982 for the offense of forgery of a financial instrument on February 12th, 2025 for a period of 4 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, state.
Yes, Your Honor. Violate condition number 1 on or about the on or about this 22nd day of May 2025 in Bear County, Texas. The defendant, Briella Butler, committed the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
I'm sorry, was that true?
True.
Thanks, ma'am. We'll waive the remaining violated condition, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, did you understand by pleading true to violation of condition number 1, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violation of condition number 1?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find violation of condition number 1 true. Is there a proposed agreement?
No, Your Honor, it's unagreed.
All right, state, what are you requesting?
The state is requesting adjudication of guilt and revoke her community supervision for 18 months in the state jail facility. One part of the agreement, we are taking into consideration the possession case she just pled to, which is JN 7143967. And we're also taking into considerations a county court at case 2025 CC 011626, which is a failure to ID, Your Honor.
And just like that, it all starts falling apart. She doesn't even make it a full year. 8 months in, and she makes another decision that puts everything at risk. Let's be honest, this wasn't some random accident. Illegal substances don't just appear. This was a choice. There were resources available. There was support available. But help only works if someone actually wants it. And right now, it doesn't seem like she's fully committed. That dream of becoming a nurse? It gets harder and harder to believe in when the same patterns keep repeating. She was given community supervision, freedom, and a chance at a clean slate, and now the state wants to revoke it and give her 18 months because she couldn't stay clean. At the end of the day, that was the one thing she had to do. And if she can't stay clean on the outside, the state may decide to force that structure on the inside.
All right. In defense, what are you requesting? Oh,
Your
you
Honor.
can't sign it.
Well, this is the,
This is, okay.
Your Honor, we're requesting that you continue her on probation, to deny the motion, and to follow the recommendation by probation to send her into the MIC unit or some other type of supervisory program with zero tolerance.
I really don't normally do zero tolerance in this court because being on probation, you're supposed to follow the rules. So my question for you, or maybe for her, what have you done? Because you've been on probation since February. What have you done? Have you completed? You want to raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
You can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
Briella Butler.
What have you done?
I went to the 60 days NA or AA online virtual visits. I reported twice.
All right, so that didn't work because you're here for a possession of controlled substance. What was that controlled substance?
Methamphetamines.
All right. So we know that doing the 60 days didn't work because you have a possession of meth. And how far along are you in your pregnancy?
7 months.
All right. So what that means is you're doing drugs. Hmm?
No, ma'am, I wasn't.
Who did the meth belong to?
DeAndre Hartley. I have an affidavit that they brought in. It wasn't mine. I did stay at the scene when the cops came. My car, I just bought it. It was broke down, and I was at my mom's house. And cops pulled up, and when they pulled up, my friend ran off, and they immediately put me in handcuffs and searched the car.
So let me just tell you right now.
And
The only way you're going to be continued on probation if you go into inpatient treatment. We're not doing this zero tolerance thing. So she can either go into inpatient treatment, and because you're pregnant, they will accept you at SafeP. But they're not going to accept you at any of the programs because of how far along you are in your pregnancy. So you can either do that or you can do the 18 months.
okay. Thank you. Can I take my baby with me?
No, what ends up happening when you are at SafeP, because it's at the prison, when you're at SafeP and you deliver your baby, someone needs to be there to accept custody of your child. Otherwise, Child Protective Services will be picking up your baby and you will have a CPS case. And when you're released from SafeP, that's what will happen. You will have to do parenting classes and everything else that's required of you. And when you have somebody, if you have your mom or whoever it is to come pick up your child at the prison, they will make a determination on whether or not that person is appropriate or not. All right. So the court will deny the motion, alter and amend conditions to include SafeP. Probation, is there anything you recommend other than SafeP? All right, so there'll be SafeP, and that's, of course, is in custody. And then it is 9 months. And you have to wait. What's the wait time for SafeP? All right, so usually the wait time for SafeP normally is 3 months. So you'll be waiting at the jail for 3 months, then they'll transfer you to SafeP and you'll be there for 9 months. All right, so the court is going to deny the motion, alter and amend conditions to include SafeP. Once she is released from SafeP, she's to be placed on the MIC caseload, and there's to be no unsupervised contact with minors. field visits until further notice. She's to complete parenting classes. Court will take in consideration JN 7143967 and 2025 CC 011626.
Right.
Is there anything else?
Nothing from us, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
This part is honestly heartbreaking. She already has one child, and now she's 7 months pregnant while still caught up in the same environment. You'd hope motherhood would be the wake-up call, but instead it seems like the cycle is continuing, that there's a real chance she could lose custody of this baby too. Not because the system wants to punish her, but because of the choices she keeps making. At some point, the consequences stop affecting just her and start affecting innocent kids. Her children could grow up barely knowing her if things don't change soon. This really feels like her last chance. She managed to avoid the full 18 months, but she'll still spend 3 months in jail waiting for a treatment bed. That means she may give birth while incarcerated, missing those first moments that can never be replaced. And the hardest part is, she almost seems numb to how life-changing all of this is. So what do you think? Will this finally be the wake-up call she needs, or are we going to see her back in Judge Boyd's courtroom again? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.